What's up, Falcons Nation, NFL fans? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I'd like to talk about draft prospect Javon Baker. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content or NFL content. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. And if you'd like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. And if you'd like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So as I mentioned in today's video, I do want to talk about draft prospect Javon Baker. Javon Baker played his college ball at UCF, which is University of Central Florida. He goes about 6'1", 202 pounds. And he is a wide receiver that I really think is a big-time playmaker and could be one of those guys that the Atlanta Falcons could consider drafting in this upcoming draft next week. Javon Baker is one of those guys that is really strong at the catch point, one of the most competitive wide receivers I've seen in this draft. And as I mentioned, he's a big-time playmaker. He had about 21 or average 21.9 yards per catch. So he was one of those guys that made big plays at UCF. He did lead their wide receiving core with 52 receptions last season, over 1,100 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns. He actually started his college career at the University of Alabama, and he decided to transfer because we know that Alabama has a lot of great wide receivers. And at the time, he was one of the reserve wide receivers, so he wasn't getting much playing time. But when he went over to UCF, he showed the nation what he can do. And he is one of those guys that is one of my favorite prospects that I've covered so far in this upcoming draft at that wide receiver position. He was one of those guys that was down at the Senior Bowl. So we know that the Atlanta Falcons like to draft guys that from the Senior Bowl in our past regimes. And I definitely could see Javon Baker being one of those guys that could fit in this Zach Robinson's offensive scheme, because he's one of those guys with the ball in his hands. He's really good run after catch. He's a hard guy to tackle in open field because he's a really physical wide receiver. Not the fastest guy. He ran a 4.5 at the combine. But when you turn on his tape, you don't see him getting caught from behind a whole lot. He is one of those guys that's an explosive athlete, and one of those guys that I think could be a sleeper, pick for the Atlanta Falcons in this draft. He's not one of the names at the wide receiver position that you're hearing about, because he's not projected to be a first round pick. He's projected to be like a 3rd round pick. So I definitely think he has some value. And if I were the Falcons, I'll probably take him in the 2nd round or in the 3rd round. But he is one of those guys that I think the Falcons should strongly consider drafting. One of those guys that can develop behind guys like Drake London, the Rondale Moores that's currently on this team, the Darnell Moonies. I definitely think he could learn a lot from those guys as far as route running and things of that nature. But he is one of those guys, like I said, that was a big-time playmaker down the field. And with the ball in his hands, he's really good run after catch, and he has really great body control. If you go watch his highlights, if you go watch some of his tape and film in college, he made a lot of tough catches and he made it look easy. So I definitely think that he could be one of those guys that the Falcons decide that they want to take a wide receiver. We don't need a wide receiver in the 1st round. Personally, I think, in my humble opinion, the Falcons shouldn't draft a wide receiver in the 1st or 2nd round. I think that we could wait to the 3rd round and continue to build on the defensive side of the ball. But Javon Baker could be one of those guys that could be drafted by the Falcons later in the draft and could be a guy that could be become a contributor on this team. But with that being said, this been your boy Jew. If you enjoyed my content, please hit that subscribe button for your boy. Give me your thoughts on Javon Baker. I definitely suggest you go check out his highlights and things of that nature. But he is one of those guys that's under the radar, but is a really good player. So with that being said, this be your boy Jew. I have a lot more content coming for you guys. But as always, Falcons Nation, NFL fans, rise up, be blessed. Peace.